The AK-47 became one of the most important weapons used by Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces during the Vietnam War. In the harsh jungles of Vietnam, reliability often mattered more than accuracy. Combat usually took place at close range in dense jungle terrain, rice fields, and tunnel systems, where weapons were constantly exposed to mud, rain, and humidity. Under these conditions, the AK-47 earned a reputation for durability and dependability. Its simple design also made it easy to clean and repair in remote jungle camps with limited supplies. Soviet and Chinese aid ensured a steady flow of rifles, ammunition, and spare parts throughout the war. The rifle was especially effective for guerrilla warfare and ambush tactics. Viet Cong fighters could suddenly attack American and South Vietnamese patrols from concealed jungle positions before quickly disappearing back into the terrain. Its compact design, automatic fire capability, and powerful 7.62 x 39 mm cartridge made the AK-47 highly effective in close-range combat. However, the AK-47 also had weaknesses. The rifle was generally less accurate at longer ranges than the American M16 rifle. Its stronger recoil made automatic fire harder to control, especially for inexperienced fighters. The rifle and its ammunition were also relatively heavy, limiting how much ammunition soldiers could carry during long jungle operations. The SKS was widely used during the early years of the Vietnam War before the AK-47 became available in large numbers. Designed as a semi-automatic rifle, the SKS offered stable firing and respectable accuracy at medium range, making it useful for guerrilla fighters defending villages, supply routes, and jungle trails. Many fighters valued its durability and simple mechanical design, especially in harsh conditions where mud, humidity, and limited maintenance could quickly affect more complex weapons. The SKS also saw use among local militias and lightly equipped units. Because it consumed less ammunition than fully automatic rifles, it was practical for fighters operating deep in rural areas with limited logistical support. In some cases, experienced marksmen used the SKS effectively against patrols moving through rice paddies or forest clearings. Its longer barrel and wooden stock also provided a more stable firing platform compared to shorter automatic weapons. However, the SKS was limited by its lack of automatic fire, making it less effective in close-range combat where engagements often happened in seconds. Reloading with stripper clips was also slower than using detachable magazines, which could be a disadvantage during sudden ambushes. As the war escalated and automatic rifles like the AK-47 became more common, the SKS gradually shifted away from frontline assault roles. The Type 56 was the Chinese-produced version of the AK-47. China delivered large quantities of these rifles as military aid, helping sustain communist forces in Vietnam throughout the conflict. Because the rifle closely resembled the Soviet AK-47, fighters could use it immediately without major retraining. In jungle warfare, where durability and simplicity mattered more than advanced technology, the Type 56 proved highly practical. Many Viet Cong units carried the Type 56 during raids, ambushes, and tunnel defense operations. The rifle's folding spike bayonet became one of its most recognizable features and was sometimes useful in close-quarters combat. Since supply lines through the Ho Chi Minh Trail were difficult and constantly targeted by American bombing campaigns, having a rugged rifle that required minimal maintenance was extremely valuable. The Type 56 helped maintain the constant pressure of guerrilla warfare across South Vietnam. However, the Type 56 was not without its weaknesses. The quality of rifles could vary depending on production batches. Some rifles overheated more quickly during sustained automatic fire, while others showed inconsistent durability after prolonged use in harsh jungle conditions. Minor manufacturing differences between Chinese and Soviet standards occasionally created maintenance and compatibility issues. Despite these limitations, the rifle remained highly respected for its reliability under harsh battlefield conditions. The PPSH-41 was a Soviet World War II submachine gun that still saw limited use during the Vietnam War among Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces due to surplus Soviet-era supplies. It was highly effective in close-quarters combat, especially in ambushes, tunnels, and dense jungle environments where short-range firepower was more important than accuracy. Its extremely high rate of fire made it effective for suppressive fire during sudden engagements, and its 7.62 x 25 mm cartridge produced manageable recoil, allowing users to control bursts relatively well. The weapon was commonly used in hit-and-run tactics where speed and volume of fire mattered more than precision. However, its effectiveness was limited by poor performance at medium and long range, as well as the practical limitations of its drum magazine, which could be heavy and prone to malfunction in harsh jungle conditions. As more modern rifles became available, its use gradually declined. The RPD served as an important support weapon for Viet Cong and North Vietnamese army units. In guerrilla warfare, suppressive fire was essential for covering movement, ambushes, and tactical withdrawals, and the RPD filled this role effectively. Unlike heavier machine guns, it was relatively portable, allowing fighters to move through jungles and mountainous terrain with greater flexibility. It used a 100-round ammunition drum, enabling sustained fire compared to standard rifles. During attacks on American patrols or fortified positions, RPD gunners focused on suppressing enemy forces, keeping them pinned down while other fighters maneuvered into position. In defensive situations, the weapon provided supporting fire along narrow jungle trails and helped restrict enemy movement during engagements. The RPD became an important force multiplier for small units, significantly increasing firepower without requiring a large crew. However, reloading the ammunition system could be slower and more complex during intense combat compared to magazine-fed weapons. Prolonged firing could also lead to barrel heating under sustained use. While lighter than many traditional machine guns, the RPD still added considerable weight for fighters operating deep in jungle terrain over long periods. The DP-28 was an early Soviet light machine gun that continued to see limited use during the Vietnam War among North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces due to surplus Soviet-era stockpiles. Although outdated compared to newer designs, it remained effective in defensive roles, particularly in static positions such as jungle camps, bunkers, and village strongpoints. Its distinctive pan magazine allowed a relatively high ammunition capacity for sustained suppressive fire, making it useful in defending fixed positions. The weapon's simple and rugged design also made it reliable in harsh jungle conditions with minimal maintenance. However, its large and heavy pan magazine made it awkward to carry in dense jungle terrain, and reloading was slower compared to more modern belt-fed or box magazine machine guns. Its size and weight limited its usefulness in highly mobile guerrilla operations. The RPG-2 was a simple anti-armor weapon used against light vehicles, bunkers, and fortified positions. During the Vietnam War, Viet Cong fighters often relied on ambush tactics against American convoys traveling along jungle roads and rural highways. The RPG-2 became an effective tool for disabling trucks, armored personnel carriers, and defensive positions at relatively low cost and with simple operation. Because many engagements happened at close range, guerrilla fighters could position themselves near roads or trails before launching sudden attacks on passing targets. Even when it did not fully destroy armored vehicles, the RPG-2 could still damage engines, create confusion, and halt convoys long enough for follow-up attacks. Its simple design also made it easier to transport through jungles and tunnel networks. However, the RPG-2 had a short effective range, forcing operators to engage targets at dangerous distances. Accuracy was limited, particularly against moving vehicles, and the weapon was less effective against heavier modern armor. Firing also revealed the operator's position, making escape difficult after an attack. The RPG-7 became one of the most famous anti-tank weapons of the Vietnam War because of its versatility and destructive power. Compared to the earlier RPG-2, it offered greater range, improved penetration, and better effectiveness against armored vehicles and fortified positions. Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces used the RPG-7 extensively during ambushes against American convoys, helicopters on the ground, fortified bases, and urban positions. The weapon became especially feared because it could threaten even heavily protected vehicles in jungle terrain where visibility was often limited. RPG teams typically operated alongside infantry units, striking quickly before withdrawing into forests or tunnel networks. The RPG-7 also had a strong psychological effect, as its explosions could disrupt troop movements and force enemy units into defensive formations. However, the rocket's smoke trail clearly revealed the shooter's position after firing, making RPG operators vulnerable to immediate counterfire. The weapon also required direct line of sight and careful aiming, which could be challenging in dense jungle combat. Its ammunition was relatively heavy, limiting how many rockets fighters could carry during extended operations. The range of weapons used by Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces demonstrates that their strength did not come from technological superiority, but from adaptation, simplicity, and the effective use of terrain. From rifles such as the AK-47, SKS, and Type 56, to support weapons like the RPD and DP-28, and anti-armor such as the RPG-2 and RPG-7, each weapon played a distinct and complementary role within guerrilla warfare. These weapons were not only used in direct engagements, but also in ambushes, hidden defensive positions, and highly mobile operations across jungles, villages, and tunnel networks. In many cases, their effectiveness depended less on advanced technology and more on timing, terrain, and tactical execution. In conclusion, the Vietnam War demonstrates how guerrilla tactics, deep knowledge of terrain, and appropriate weapon selection can significantly shape the outcome of a conflict, even against a more technologically advanced opponent. The weapons used by communist forces were often simple in design, but they were reliable, practical, and well-suited for close-range jungle warfare. Ultimately, this arsenal formed an effective system of asymmetric warfare, where success was defined not by technological dominance, but by adaptability, resilience, and battlefield strategy. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.